Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast, your Oklahoma food podcast. You're joined by your hosts, Nabil and
Christina.
And on this episode, we've got Mark with Psycho Taco.
Psycho Taco. We're about to get psycho with Psycho Taco.
That's right. And I tell you what, the beer battered cauliflower taco sounds crazy, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into that conversation with Mark.
Let's do it. I want to keep
tough.
it like that, but...
You know, as speaking of kind of an intro here, you know, obviously I met Nabil through, we did a podcast for Parlor when it opened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, the owners of Parlor, they didn't know that there was a 14.5% on top of the state tax. That is a liquor tax. So you're building your P&Ls and for your annual projected income, and you're like,
Jeez.
what?
Yeah.
14.5%? What? Yeah, 14.5% tax on liquor. When Parlor was, their umbrella is where they made their money is on the, the majority of their money is on the bar side.
Yeah.
So that was a major hit, So, but anyway, that was another life for me, and I moved on. But a great segue for me is how a Psycho Taco was
Created.
I've always been an entrepreneur my whole life, and this just kind of got me back to that. I knew that eventually I would be here, and I didn't want to do it with a lot of corporate money or a lot of other people's money.
Investments.
It's like I wanted to do it and own it. So, a small investment to get it going, and some help from some great friends of people that I met through the Parlor. Marco I'll give a shout out to Marco from Mob Grill and Chef Ray from Ray's Chicken.
Awesome.
Those two probably am indebted to, because, those are the two that I kind of, what's going on here? When I was at the Parlor, I had to find people to fill those kitchens, and I couldn't find a good taco business. The only ones that were in Oklahoma City were already had things going. So we didn't really have anybody going after a brand or a chef, that was going after a brand. You saw some street taco trucks, that sit on corners and things like that. Yeah. But they're, that's what they love. They love what they do. Just what the gentleman said prior here. It's like that. They love that. That's what they do. But wasn't anybody going after a brand. And that's what you wanted. And there really wasn't one. So I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I love Mexican food, and I eat it. I think I've 4 times a week my entire life.
I know.
So and then with my operational experience and just the sheer vision of what we could do, that's kind of how Psycho Taco was born. So kind of put together the logo and really. I'm a promotion and marketing background, so I kind of went after a full brand and just said, hey, we're sitting here. It was such a powerful conversation you just had with him. That was awesome. Yeah. But it's the truth and reality of a lot of businesses of what you do, right?
Yeah, you have to market
so,
it, right?
You have to have a purpose. And, the purpose here is, we want Psycho Taco to be more than a food truck. And a lot of the food truck people think like that. Mm-hmm. So, when you want that, you're out there bumping and grinding for the big prize. You're pushing, hey, I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand. Mm-hmm. He said he was sitting there and there's nobody in his restaurant, right? It's like, sometimes. Well, I got to do something to get some people in here. Yeah. But you're doing it to build the brand. It's like that one person coming through the door, you want to make sure you take care. Yeah. You want them to give the best experience
and
ever.
They'll bring a friend next time.
Yeah, they tell 2 people and then one person, and then they come back. It's about consistency, Yeah. It's like put out a great product, take care of people, have a great atmosphere, and manage your money properly, and you should be successful. Especially if you're passionate about and put out a great product. So
I think people kind of underestimate, or I don't know. I can only just talk for myself because I love food and I go out and I try to support our local restaurants as much as I can. But I always tend to go to the places that I feel like they put so much love and effort, and as far as quality, presentation, service, everything, I go to those places a lot because that's what I get from these places, and so you can really tell that it's not like just a business.
Right.
It's a labor of a lot of things.
Yeah.
passion, love, creativity, and so. And it sounds like you've been, you know, in the food industry for many years. Because I was looking at your bio a little bit on your website. I'm like, oh my
Yes.
gosh! And so, what was your role in Parlor?
I was the general manager there.
Okay.
That was, and you know, I have a 30-year career in operating restaurants. So from, I mean, you name it, it's from fine dining to sports bars, probably sports bar oriented more, probably the majority of my career. But prior to that, I ran basically it was a production company that booked entertainment all around the country. I did national band promotion, you know, concerts, events. So a lot of promotions and marketing was kind of a big part of me. So when I got into the restaurant industry, I was really looking for people that I could showcase my promotion and marketing abilities. So that's kind of how I looked when I got involved into the restaurant industry. And now that I'm into owning Psycho Taco and can kind of take all that and wrap it all into everything I know and put it out there and go, okay, it's ready to go. I'm ready to go.
It's like all your experience coming together for Psycho Taco.
And I can tell you, we have a great product. We're very passionate about what we do, and we just love it when people just give us that. Man, your food's so good. You know, we were at an event last night. It's like people coming back for seconds and thirds. You know, I want to try that. I want to try that. And people, it's like they'll take your dish out and then, hey, where'd you get that? You know, so what truck was that? You know, so then they're going to your truck.
Yeah.
So
No, and I can say I haven't had it in a couple of years because I had it at volleyball.
you did the beer batter cauliflower. I remember.
I
didn't
did,
you?
yeah. And that was I was just like, because you were like, try this. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cauliflower. I don't get cauliflower tacos, but it was really, really good.
Yeah, cauliflower they don't get a good rap.
No.
It's a lot of people like, cauliflower's out. It's like, man, I don't know. Cauliflower's pretty good if it's done right.
Right. It's
So-
any ingredient is good if you treat it right and
Yeah.
create it with respect, right?
It's got
So
good
wh-
texture, and so like you need it. If you add the right flavor profiles to it, then you can create something really good.
And I mean, the batter on it definitely helped.
oh, the
Yes.
batter for sure.
Yeah, we
yes.
batter it. We
It wasn't
fry
a
it.
super thick batter either, so it kind of complemented.
It's
it really
that beer
nicely.
batter. You know, it's made with beer, so it's a Shiner Bock. You know, we use and put some paprika in there, some kosher salt and flour, and then fried up. Then we put our 14 ingredient queso on top of it, and then elote corn with a little bit of cilantro on the top. So it does justice for cauliflower. I've had some vegetarians will say that that's the best vegetarian taco I've ever had. And that's when someone, a vegetarian, 15-year vegetarian or lifetime vegetarian says that to you, you're like, hey, we're onto something good here.
That's something, yeah.
So we're excited to showcase that at we're going to be at the Oklahoma Truck Championships this year in Chickasha. And my first year, matter of fact, we're getting ready to celebrate our second year, coming up on our 2-year anniversary. So, like to.
Congratulations.
That's
that's
exciting.
big.
That is-
And I did some numbers before I came to the show just so I could share. I was like,
Yes.
180,000 tacos in 2 years.
Wow.
180,000 tacos.
Okies love their tacos.
That is
Yes.
insane to think that 2 years ago, Psycho Taco wasn't even a thought. And now that 2 years later, we've sold 180,000 tacos, and just the future is super bright. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we probably do anywhere from 30 to 50 events a month. We operate 2 trucks. We work the state of Oklahoma, or even can go outside of that. But
30 to 50 events a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is when he was talking about the grind.
Yeah.
It's like I was
That's
sitting in the
legit
corner
grind.
going,
You're like,
the
I feel
grind."
that. I know what that is.
to put out that to for each one of those events, just say for the event last night, I mean, we served 300 people last night, but 300 people times 2 tacos, I mean, that's 1,500 tacos. That's and you're doing that 30 to 50 times a month. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. So, but he was spot on. It's like, hey, don't do it unless a lot of people want to sit on the outside and, man, that sounds great. I think I could do that. It's like, well, you might want to sit down. I love the way he was quantifying everything. He put it in a chart, and he was very methodical.
Yeah.
a great guy. But yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, you're going to put you're going to spend a lot of time, building that brand.
Yeah. And you know it because you're in marketing and promotion. And so I'm sure you've been such a great mentor and somebody that a lot of people have, that I'm sure people reach out to you to just kind of get an insight on like, how does this work? Because like, what Alex was saying, like people don't know what's happening in the kitchen. I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know how like the workflow happens. I just know that things are happening.
I order food and I get it.
Right. And you either go, this isn't that good, or this is pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
but better yet, what we want as the operator or the chef or whoever the person is working there and obviously giving their heart and soul is, are you going to come back?
Right.
That's how you're going to order that again. That's did you like it? It's not, I didn't like it. Or would you order that again?
Right.
It's like, if you're not going to say, no, I wouldn't order that again. Then you're like, okay, well, either the taste wasn't, just their profile, or, you're not doing something right. So, but.
So what was transitioning from being an operator to an owner / chef on the truck, right? Because you probably put your time in on the truck.
Yeah, I'm the total developer of the entire product.
And you came up with the menu yourself, or did you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that process like for you?
Again, you had to break it down. You had to first have to me, it wasn't the food first, which maybe it should have been the food first. To think about it that way. But for my brain and the way I put it, it's not that we didn't put a lot of passion in the food. We have, and we're very passionate about our food. I mean, it's like, it needs to be spot on all the time. I don't care if we're at an event for 10 people. We want those 10 people to have the best, best tacos they've ever had. But the transition piece was putting together from the operator side of using my marketing, was coming up with the logo and even Psycho Taco and the catchy sayings and the menu that matches the everything psycho-ness. All our tacos have a psycho name. So as you can see, there was the thought process of what this can be as a brick and mortar and even past a brick and mortar. Nice. So it's like, we're a very small molecule, but we're gonna blow this thing up.
Yeah,
and that's kind of that's my heart and soul right now. It's like, you can probably see the bags in my eyes or whatever. It's like, that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
I remember you showing me the logo when it was done, and you were super excited about it.
So proud. So proud. I mean, that should be so bad, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's great. But I knew it was something good when people, I have been there, and I wouldn't even open yet. I was like, okay, we're on a good. This is a great radar. Man. It's like you put it in front of people, and they're like, hey, I recognize that, or I'm familiar with that, and then okay, that's fine. But now when they do show up, you got to deliver. So we have to deliver. So we don't win all the time, but we learn from early on. We learned from some mistakes we made, but always been passionate about it, always been customer oriented. It's like, hey, we want our customers to, give us good or negative feedback to where we can be better, so.
And adjust accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, hey, everything's about the guest experience and their expectations. So, it's like the old Prince songs. Remember the old movie in Prince where they're like, hey, don't make it personal.
Yes.
Was
it Purple Rain?
Purple Rain. Like, don't sing about your personal experiences.
Yes.
And he said, screw you guys. He goes out and sings one of the best hits ever, right?
I know.
Purple Rain.
Yes.
So, same thing here. It's like, it's like you think you might have something good, but you have to listen to your guests, and your guests will tell you if you have something good.
Yeah, being open to critique and feedback is so important, so that you're like also checking kind of yourself and like the product that you're giving out.
Yeah.
Mark, I wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the favorite, or like how often do you revisit your menu to see like, okay, like what do I want to change here? Or, like, what do I want to...
It's a great question. First, I would say Psycho Taco is not a, you're not going to come get tacos made with beef tongue and things, the exotic stuff. We're kind of more Tex-Mex. All my meats are all premium meats. I mean, we'd sell 81-19 mix on the burger, so we pay the extra money for our taco beef.
Nice.
I mean, there's 15 ingredients in our taco beef. It's amazing. I eat it every day. But all our meats are all top of the line, premium meats. So that's first, okay, well, with great thing about tacos is you can add a different ingredient and you have a whole brand new taco, right? Just one ingredient.
Yeah.
Like we're doing a buffalo chicken dip now. And it's like, okay, well, we have queso, we have guacamole, we have sour cream. What can we do to have another different flavor profile? Because I didn't have buffalo anything on the truck, but I was like, man, let's try to put some buffalo sauce in. So we started experimenting, making some buffalo sauce, and now we do a buffalo chicken dip. So yeah, we always want to add something to it, but you want to be careful on a food truck because anybody out there thinking about opening up a food truck is don't be so diversified.
I feel like he's talking to me right now.
You gotta stick to one thing and do one thing great, and that's going to be your identity.
Yeah.
You can't. These trucks that are people that have like, hey, I want to open a food truck and I want to sell burgers and I want to sell wings and I want to sell sandwiches. It's like you just don't have the capacity or the space for that or the manpower to be able to produce unless you have a massive truck. So, and then people want to, if you're going to build a following, it needs to be on like a very condensed menu.
Yeah.
So it's really we just kind of fluctuate with the items and the basic meats that we have. We sell carne asada, we sell slow roasted pork, we sell chicken fajita, and we sell taco beef. And, obviously bacon, and then all the works on the cauliflower. So we take out of those, and we've created a great menu that has a lot of different flavors.
I love that you're building your tacos and your items based on like what are the ingredients that I have at my that are here in Oklahoma, or do you guys source from like locally?
We it's like that is. I think that could be a next step, but when I got in this and. Another shout out to Chef Ray and Marco from Mob Grill. They just started passing me events. I mean, obviously I knew as an operator, they knew I had a great product. They knew that they could trust that they could, refer us and that we were going to go compliment them on a referral, right? So they were going to refer someone that was going to go do a bad job or have bad food.
Right.
So, but they just started passing stuff left and right. And my first truck, I think within the first 2 months, I was like, we need another truck.
Oh my goodness.
That's an awesome space to be in though, right?
Yeah. So we bought another truck, right in the middle of our first 2 months.
Wow.
Just because it just took off. So to get back to your question, it's like things were just moving so fast that maybe we didn't go out and source all that. We buy through the national, markets, either chef store, which when you're a food truck, you don't really have you're not having a big semi dropping the stuff at your restaurant. You're at a food truck, so you have to.
Logistic, huh?
As he was talking about going, he has to go to the store and get the food. It's like that's kind of what you're doing. You're going and actually pulling the stuff off the shelves, loading your carts, paying for it. Restaurant Depot is a great source here in Oklahoma City. Massive company, food's really good. Their beef products and pork products are top of the line. So, they service Oklahoma City, and we use that in the chef store, which is not Benny Keith, but that's U.S. Foods.
Oh, U.S. Foods, yeah, that's what it is. It's, and we've kind of alluded to the fact that I'm going to do a food truck soon. So
I did not know that.
We have?
I didn't know that until I stepped in here. We should talk. So
that'd be great. I would love to kind of pick your brain and get some advice on learnings and actually, you know what was in those first 2 months as you were expanding, right? You got a second truck. That's super quick. What is something that you learned real quick on that first truck that you didn't repeat on that second truck?
Good question.
Well, I think it's probably, first of all, you can probably be as busy as you want to be if you have a great product. I mean, you literally go, hey, I need to take Sunday off, or I'm going to book Sunday. there's that much business. If
Yeah.
if you have a great product, I mean, their demand is there. So we were doing some events that were, feeding 200 people in, let's say, an hour and a half.
Wow.
On a food truck.
That is some quick tacos.
And so a lot of, when you get into the food truck, that's where you have to find what's your market. What is your market? What are you going after? So have a, and Psycho Taco is evolving. I've had 3 visions, of what it started as a vision of what I thought Psycho Taco would be, but I'm allowing it to kind of take care of itself and evolve, and it's evolved 3 times. So I really feel like we're headed in the direction that of this new vision. So, but it always started with a brand and the guest. What's our target market? Are you going to go after smaller events to put out great, flavorful food that might take a little more time for prep, or are you want to get out there and actually, there's a lot of money in your how quick you can serve.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing from the first truck. The second truck is just knowing through a couple of events and doing 150 to 200 people in a very short amount of time of, okay, how can we make this faster?
Yeah. I mean, that's the name of the game on the truck,
yeah,
right?
Because people are going to they're going to give you some time, right? They're going to, hey, it's a food truck. They understand that. Some people do. But anything over 12 to 15 minutes, again, same as a restaurant, is like, that's a long time to wait for your food.
Yeah.
And you can get, you can get yourself in a situation where your ticket times are 30 minutes or long, just like a restaurant. They call it in the weeds, and you got a rail of tickets. And the thing about the food truck is they're all standing in line, waiting to eat. So you might have 50 people in line. And that last person is going to wait that long to get their food. And then they got to wait to get their food. So you really have to take that into consideration when what are you trying to serve? So that's why if you diversify it, calm it down, do 1 or 2 things really good, and then start adding things to it.
Yeah.
And that would be probably I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
The efficiency in a truck, I'm just imagining just like everything is choreographed so perfectly. Like if just one person, like all I'm going to do is just these 2 things, and I'm just like a little machine, right?
Right. It is a machine. And if you're working with a 1-man team for a small event, 2-man team, 3-man team, 4-man team, 5-man team, we've done Costco, which we've served 700 people in, 2.5 hours. Wow. That's a lot of people.
I didn't know Costco. Was this
Costco's
for their
huge.
employees or just out there for the customers?
Customer appreciation parties is on fire in Oklahoma City. Probably everywhere in the food truck. But it's a thing. It's like people want the food truck, the good ones. They're like, and they try them and like, oh, that wasn't very good, or we want to have those guys back. When they want tacos, right, or when they want chicken, or when they want wings or burgers or barbecue or. There's a great diversity of great food trucks here in Oklahoma City. If you haven't gone out to any food truck events, you do yourself a favor and get out and go to some of these. We've been doing Herd on Herd for the last 2 years, and there's 20 to 30 food trucks out there. I mean, some of the best in Oklahoma City. Yeah. If you haven't do yourself a favor, get out there and try some of that food. It's really good.
Herd on Herd is such a good one. Are you guys going out to Scissortail to their Friday night?
Yeah, we do Scissortail. Scissortail is that's a competitive market. A lot of food trucks are, and then you have to be picked, right? Oh,
interesting. Okay.
But we have our main events that we do out there. Other than that, we'll be randomly picked to set up randomly. Mm-hmm. And now that you have the convention center. You have all that convention center business there. So all those people will come out and eat on the food trucks.
Yeah.
So the communication has to be great on, hey, if they book you at Scissortail and you have a convention and you didn't know it, I mean, you're like, I didn't bring that much food.
It's twice as many people.
Oh, could be 10 times. Could be 10 times more. So, but Scissortail's great. They've got a great setup there where all the trucks can plug in and they do that's a tough job. They do a really good job out there, though. It's great for the food truck industry. It's great for us. We do Festival of the Dead. We do the Foodie Fest. We're getting ready to do the Red, White, and Boom.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, which is with the Philharmonic Orchestra out there. That's massive. So we have our big events out of the year that we do, and then, like I said, we get staggered in. But we have the OU contract. We have the Tinker Air Force Base contract. So, yeah, there's like
awesome.
So those type things there keep the ball rolling as far as just the phones are ringing and.
You're creating a cult following for Psycho Tacos.
Right.
Yeah, it's
They're crazy about these tacos.
Right. So it's crazy good. Yeah. Come get psycho with us. That's that's kind of some of our catchphrases.
I like that.
Love it. I love the names that you've picked for a lot of your items. Like the last time we had Psycho Taco was at the final party for Café do Brasil. I'm pretty sure you guys were out there.
Yes.
It was
that was so cool.
Anna, I think it's Anna, the owner,
Anna. Yep.
her birthday, and my family was there because they know the owners, and I don't personally know her, but I was there enjoying the food and the drinks. I'm like, that was the first time I had Psycho Taco. I was like, this is amazing. And also, I want the unhinged, and I want this one.
Yeah,
want
there you
this
go. People always ask, they come in the truck, what's your favorite? And we have to say, I have to back off. Say, they're all my favorite.
They're my children. How do I pick?
you gotta decide for yourself on what is your, what's your favorite. I tell people, start with your favorite meat. If you like a great taco beef, or if you like a fajita chicken, or we have 6-hour slow roasted pork. And we have carne asada. So you decide what's your favorite meat, and then we can build from there. And the great thing about tacos, like I said, that's one great thing about our truck, I think, compared to others, is that a taco truck is like, I don't want this, but I want to add that. Can you make this like that? Like they'll see our menu and go, hey, can you make the distracted like the unhinged? Just because they see the ingredients, like I want that, but I want that with
that
chicken.
meat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they do a lot of mixing and matching, but
does that get difficult on the truck to try and like do those customizations?
That's one thing you have to manage, right? It's like depending on the size of the event. Like let's say, for instance, last night we were doing the Kevin Fowler show out at Megastar Casino in Kingston, and we knew it was going to be busy. A Beats and Bites event. Those events are massive. We do Riverwind. We'll be there July 8th and again in August. And those events pull 10 to 15,000 people, and they do a good job of not overbooking trucks. So that you're going to be busy from beginning to the end. So to answer your question, is like, if you know that, there's certain things you can't do. Like we have a great birra taco, but you just can't do birras, when you're serving 15,000 people. It just takes too long. So you have to make those decisions early on the food trucks. Like some people go to the food trucks, like, hey, you can get this until we sell out, or we don't have that today. Okay. And so people with the food, they get that. Yeah. It's like, hey, they know you can't offer everything all the time. But in my standards, like we want to, right? Right. Yeah. We need to. Our guest is coming. That's what they want. We need to give them that. But you do have to make a business decision on these bigger events to kind of narrow your menu even down more.
So sometimes you roll with the limited menu, as opposed to
and then your pace is,
way better.
You can serve a lot of people. If we did beef, chicken, or pork, boom, it's out the window. They order. But like I said, the great thing about our trucks, they can come in and they personally order. It's not like you go up and go, I'll take the chicken, and it's like wrapped in foil and they hand it to you. It's nothing like that. It's like there's still a personalized experience. Coming up and ordering what you want and get on it what you want. And that is just, we do that all day. So we don't differentiate from that. It's like we want people, when they order and what they order, we want to be able to them to get it the way they want it. I don't want it with this, or I want that, or a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want it spicy, or I want it extra spicy, right?
Yeah.
So those things we do consistently all the time.
I'm glad, because I feel like with a lot of, I'm not Mexican, so I can't speak for I'm not 100% knowledgeable in a lot of the Mexican cuisine, but I know that there's a lot of ingredients that, like cilantro, for example. Like my husband does not he can't tolerate cilantro. And so, but a lot of times cilantro is just like embedded in the salsas and not just in Mexican cuisine. I know cilantro is huge in a lot of other cultures, like Colombia.
It's huge in Pakistani cuisine too. Yeah.
Exactly, the different corianders. And I mean, and it's for some reason, a lot of people just think that cilantro tastes like soap, and so you got to be able to accommodate for the people that do like Mexican food. And it's like, what do we do? And
maybe they haven't had really good fresh cut cilantro. Maybe they've had Maybe they've had a bad experience.
I think I heard in this, may have been on a podcast episode, that it's like a genetic thing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like they're just tasting it. It's like it's just built into them that it tastes like that.
Yeah.
Like we do fresh cut jalapenos. We don't use pickled jalapenos. We use fresh cut. So people, there are no jalapenos or extra jalapenos, depending on, if they want it spicy.
Yeah.
Like we do our chaos it's our carne asada street tacos, and that comes with a cilantro and onion mix on top. And a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want the cilantro. I always, when people do that, like, our meat is very flavorful, but to me is like, I'm very prideful about that the tacos all have a variety of deep taste. Like you can, as you eat, you can taste more things. You eat like that. I know we've had conversations. So it's like, I can really taste that, So there's a lot of levels of flavor in the tacos. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we're really excited about is that people like, hey, your truck, your food has flavor. Because there's a lot of trucks out there, they put out a good product, but their foods might be a little bland. But because, to put extra spice into, to prepping these things and the sheer volume, it's to get a good consistent flavor, it takes, there's a lot of effort that goes into that.
Well, it takes somebody with a good flavor profile, like a cook or a chef that can appreciate the different spices and condiments to give out. Because I feel like a lot of times if you just don't know what something flavorful tastes like, then you're just going to eat bland your entire life.
Right.
So you're teaching the masses. You're like giving some flavor culture to a lot of people.
Like when people say that's the best taco I've ever had, I know what they're saying to me. They're saying that has they taste a lot of flavor in there, levels of flavor. So, and that's why when you keep your menu on a food truck. Now, when we expand and go to higher than the food truck, then
brick and mortar is next. Sounds like.
Our next progression seems to be it's going to be like just a commissary to go, and we're just getting ready to a commissary to accommodate our business. Where we and we'll be able to expand our catering.
Nice.
And then we'll also be able to offer it to go, like almost like ghost kitchens where you're using the Uber Eats and the local
Tap Eat.
No, not Tap Eat. The one that's
ELO.
ELO, yeah. That's the local. That's a really good one. But those delivery services can kind of be more of a to go. And that's just our next progression to where I don't have to go out and capitalize and try to, get a bunch of money to go try to open a brick and mortar. I mean, to do it right, I mean, you need $1 million, to do it right. Really, especially with the cost of everything these days, really just, that's what it would take to do a decent brick and mortar on a small scale. So here it's like, hey, we're making a bigger commissary and turning it to go business, and then we'll actually be able to do some more things. Like right now, we don't make our own chips, because if we try to keep up with the amount of chips that we have to do, it just with our space deficiencies that we have, and just think of the cases of chips, that you have to store to make those chips, right?
Yeah.
So, but this will allow us to do some of these things that I've been wanting to do. That's awesome. Which will make Psycho Taco even better. So we're really excited about that.
That's exciting. Yeah.
And it is, to some, it's like us, it might seem like a small step, but to me, I think it's a huge step. It's like it's our next progression. And it's Psycho Taco's evolving, and, we're letting our guests show us what they want and and then with the values that I have as a person, to like, hey, where do we want to head with this thing? So.
There's kind of a beauty in starting as a food truck because you're all kind of already building a lot of loyal followers, you know,
Yeah.
people that recognize your brand, they recognize your taco, they want it, they always find it when they go to these social events. And so
Right.
when you open your brick and mortar, you're already kind of going
Yeah.
to have you know, like frequent
Yep.
guests coming back, you know, so it's like a new restaurant, but not really, you know, you
Right,
already
right.
have people that you've already met.
Well, you
and
have a
seen.
base that can help support you, you know, what you need in the beginning. And the food truck is the way to go because it's the least expensive, you know, now, but that was where the parlor was and that food hall industry
Yeah.
was created. And it's still evolving. I mean, there was no book on food halls of how to run a successful food hall. They're still trying to figure out the best way, the financial model to make that the best it can be. And still, you know, give the credit to the chefs that are inside, you know, building their brands inside your umbrella.
Yeah,
So,
I remember talking to you about that just very briefly about what it takes to get a space in there.
Yeah.
Because this is the same
That's,
idea.
yeah, and that's a good way to go. If you can get in and pitch it, and they've got the room, that's even cheaper than doing a food truck. So that's kind of where the food halls were born. You know, where it's like you have these great chefs and these great ideas that people want. Hey, I want to go try this out. Well, put together the menu. You know, taste test it, make it great, and go to see if you can get in a food hall and then go from there. And just like I said, build your brand, and then it's add a food truck, then maybe a brick and mortar after that. You know,
I feel like it's made going into the food industry as a chef or as somebody who wants to own a restaurant more accessible.
Yeah.
Right. Because I feel like I don't know when food halls started, but I know when the first food hall opened here in Oklahoma, I was like, well, this is new. I've never heard of this, you know, and it's not really like an event space. I know that sometimes there are events happening at these food halls, but that's just so great for someone trying to get into the food industry when they don't have to like invest $1 million in a brick and mortar. And then what if your product doesn't even work?
Might
it's
not
not
work.
accepted, and you know, because people have different palates in different places. Oklahomans may not recognize something. They're like, yeah, this is not really what I like, you know, but it may be something that you're a huge fan of depending on where you grew up, where you're from. And so
you will learn a lot about, you know, you have the idea and getting out there and putting it out there. Your guests will let you know. Or, like I said, it could be the atmosphere. Atmosphere plays huge in a lot of businesses out there, you know, that they go for the entire experience. And the food is the accent piece, right? So, but the atmosphere is such a big piece of the puzzle to make people, you know, to build a great business, you know, that more people want to revisit and revisit and revisit and revisit and revisit, or just like the gentleman was saying, that they want to pick you over, you know, 50 other places that are within their reach within a, you know, 5-minute drive. So
I mean, it's a big decision to go be like, that's where we're gonna eat, right?
Sure.
One, you're spending your time there, you're spending your meal there, because you know a meal is also a finite quantity to be like, what do I want to eat? And then you're spending your dollars there, right? You're like choosing this place to be like, this is where I'm gonna go and this is what I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, that kind of brings up two thoughts. One, it's, you know, with the pandemic and everything, everybody inside, now they're out again. It's like the money they spend and the place they go, the public wants more for their money. It's like, I don't want to just go and just have something, sit down at a table and that's it. It's like they want more of an experience. Say it's an outing, I'm out of the house, right? The second thought was when on the developer side of a business, now it's in your business model, you should be preparing for a to-go, a drive-through, something like that. Because that was one thing that Parlor struggled with. That, you know, we tried to have an identity with to-go, and we couldn't build it because it's like we weren't a to-go place.
Right.
But the pieces that were thriving were the fast food or the people who had a to-go business, and they just skyrocketed, you know, through the pandemic. But so now the developers of new businesses are like, hey, you know, in the business model, there's a to-go
incorporated. Yeah.
So that way, God forbid something like this happens again, but, you know, I would probably say history will repeat itself, right? Sooner or later. So it's, building it to go into your business model and something like that would probably be advantageous.
Yeah. People are real homebots too, and I feel like during the pandemic, people really realized like, okay, well maybe we'll just eat at home.
Right.
We'll just stay home.
It would have been funny. The outing was the to-go delivery service, or going and picking it up in your car and having the curbside pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it just
that was an outing.
It's changed business.
Yeah.
Forever. that'll never go away. So
It's crazy. So Mark, what are your most favorite events to go to these days when you take your truck?
you know what, man, that's a great question. There's so many great events. I mean, we do neighborhoods. We did Teachers Week. That lasted almost 2 weeks. That was awesome.
Wow.
Feeding the teachers. So it's just awesome.
That's so great.
And there's such great people, right? There's givers. So when they get something, it's like a big deal. I mean, we went to one event and we called it, like, when they pick up our food, it's like, hey, it's psycho time. It means it's time for you to get psycho for your tacos,
Love
right?
it,
And they're like,
yes.
woo! And they're screaming, hollering, clapping hands, Cheryl. So, and that's why you're in there, sweating and making working hard and, seeing people out there loving your food and having a great time. Those are fun events. But we always love to make money. So, so the big events, the big ones, some of it Scissor Tail, or like the Beats and Bites, or we do the El Reno Burger Festival. That's a fun one. We do the walk around in Stillwater. That's amazing. Awesome. So yeah, and I went to school at Oklahoma State. So anytime I get a chance to, my truck has been parked, inside of, Boone Pickens Stadium. It's also, and a matter of fact, to be completely ironic, it's also been inside Boomer Stadium. So,
You're a truck divided.
Yeah, it's funny. We did the OU baseball team. We did the Bedlam series Thursday,
Nice.
Friday, Saturday in Norman, and one of my trucks is pulled by a truck that has my Oklahoma State tag on the front, and literally they emailed me and said, "Hey, you got to take that off or cover it up at least."
Goodness.
And I'm like, and I was like, I don't have a problem with that. I love Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I cheer for OU. I just don't cheer when they play Oklahoma State. So,
Right.
but I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, it's really, man, it's like, I'm kind of that, a very social person. So, getting out to do all these great events are just, it's super fun. And that's one thing working on the food trucks. It's like, it's a community, it's a food truck family. We never charge anybody that works in the food truck. I mean, I don't charge police officers. We don't charge firemen.
That's great.
And anybody that works on a food truck. So they come and eat on our truck. We're not going to charge you. So, and then there's a family of that. It's like any other business you do or other hobby or something. You just kind of are accepted into this family, and now you're one of you're one of your food truck families.
Yeah.
And there's so many good food trucks out there. There's a ton.
It seems
really
like
good.
the food truck community in Oklahoma City is really amazing, and everybody's supporting each other, and a lot of events to go participate in, and so
we share a lot. People will test something out and they'll share that experience. And then, I have a, handful of people that will, if they're booked, they shoot it to me, or vice versa. I'm booked, hey, and I shoot it to them. It's like, hey, I've got a great truck for you. Just recently, I made a mistake and double booked ourselves, and it was in a neighborhood. Neighborhood businesses are massive. It's like every HOA or every neighborhood wants to have food trucks come to their community. They have food truck night, right? And when you book it and then something happens and you can't make it, I mean, that's a big thing. They're like, man, this guy's falling. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
We're not going to have our food truck tonight. But you can pass it to, a couple of your close-knit food truck people and say, hey, can you help me cover me? So we just recently had that happen, and young lady was really distraught because she had flyers and she had put a lot of effort into having this food truck event, and we couldn't make it. But I said, hey, I can help you out. I have some great trucks and some people that I can refer that's a great product. So first two I got for, it's like she was like, no, that's not what I want. I'm like,
Okay.
man, I got a great food truck. Because now she was being picky, but we ended up getting her the right truck. But that was through the community of, the food truck, network. So that we have with each other. So.
She wanted Psycho Tacos.
She did. They were like, man, they were really mad. They were mad. But, that's one avenue of the food truck business that's, on the behind the scenes. It's, people are contacting you through instant message, through Instagram, through email, through phone. I mean, it's like your information's all coming from all different directions.
Yeah.
That's why we try to funnel them all into our website. So hey, put your information on the website, or send me an email and let's confirm it all through email. That way, there's we have a record of it. It's like you can go back and search history. The date. So check out all the details.
You can't be everywhere at the same time, and everybody wants you. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I'm
you
sure
get more trucks.
Yes.
More trucks.
And I'm sure it's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more out there. It's like just like in the restaurant business. You're like, let's say you were at the restaurant and the restaurant's been open for 15 years. It's just amazing that people come in and sometimes 50%, 60% of your day are all first-time guests. They've never been there before. Mm-hmm. So to think about that and then having your staff still give them the experience of a first-time visit instead of that staff member's been there for a year. That's like, oh, this is just another person coming in. It's like, no, this is the first time this customer's been in here. So same thing with Psycho Tacos, first time that they've tried our truck. So we got to make sure the experience is great. Right. They have to have great food, they have great service, great atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And you can put out an atmosphere. We play music, and Psycho is
that's awesome.
It's the brand is developing. We've stuck with the pillars that we're going to continue into our future, and it'll obviously diversify even more. But we've stayed true to the brand pillars that we want to be known for. So
nice. Do you, whenever you go into these events, do you do a special item from time to time? If it's like a themed event or anything, like you went to the burger festival, like did you do like a cheeseburger taco or something like that?
Our menu is quite diversified as it is, so it could be that maybe we put a asterisk on a certain taco. It's like, hey, this is the special taco of the event. Okay. But we have a specials board that can switch. Like we have a jackfruit barbecue taco.
Okay.
But we don't carry that on a truck a lot. So when we book shows, if there's a lot of vegans or vegetarians, we try to get that in advance because we might not carry that on the truck unless it's special requested. So, but our menu's diversified. So it can feed the vegan, it can feed the vegetarian, it can feed the gluten-free person. It can also feed, the person that loves beef, that loves chicken, loves pork. It touches everything.
So you kind of like mix and match.
Yeah, I like spicy. I don't like spicy. I want mild. I want extra hot. So it covers the whole spectrum.
Nice.
So which is great when you're booking an event because you might have 2 people in the office that are vegetarian. Yeah. Can you take care of them? Sure, we can.
Right.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma loves their beef. They love their beef, man. It's
love meat
beef.
here.
Beef is probably what we sell the most of. Our carne asada and our unhinged, which is the taco beef tacos. And then I think that unhinged too. Also, it's a great product. It's really good, but people just resonate with the just a taco, right, with some cheese, lettuce, and pico de gallo. As long as the pico's fresh and everything's the ingredients on top of it are nice and cold and crisp.
Yeah.
It's a great taco.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, now I really want a taco.
I know.
I should have brought some food.
It's because it's lunchtime. Oh. Well, maybe we'll go find Psycho Taco after this. So.
Yeah, right. Well,
are you guys out somewhere today?
Matter of fact, there's one truck is in Hera for I think it's for a softball, girls softball award ceremony.
Cool.
Nice.
So they booked a truck. So it's really diverse. The number of events that are all over the board, from corporate side to neighborhoods to conventions to weekend events. There's just, and it's just never ending. Weddings, we do a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
Are not taco trucks, but food trucks at weddings are a big deal. And even just a birthday party. What an event we did? We just did an event, and it was at a business, a club place of business, and the guy normally goes out and buys food at a restaurant and goes in, sets it all up on the table, and gets napkins and silverware and cups and trash bags and the whole bit, and then has to set it up, keep it hot, keep it cold, keep it restocked. For his employees to do an appreciation party. Then he's like, books the taco truck for the first time. He goes, man, I am never catering again. I am doing the trucks. That is the way to go. Because you know what he did? Made the phone call, and that was it. Yeah. It's like he gets to spend his time with his team,
Right.
and say hi and slap, great job, and then let us handle the food. So, there's a great piece right there for businesses out there taking care of their employees. It's super easy to just give us a call, or your favorite cuisine. There's a food truck out there that serves it. And book yourself a truck and do yourself a favor and have great food and enjoy your people. Yeah. Let us do the hard work.
Yeah. So talking about that, where can people follow Psycho Taco and find out where you're going to be?
Well, we're on Instagram and Facebook. We're also, you can reach out to our website, which is www.psychotacookc.com. And straight on that front page, it'll say, book us now. We like to party, or we like to get psycho.
Yeah.
You click on the button and give us your information. And, we can do parties for 20 to parties to 2,000, So obviously there'll be more than one food truck at a 2,000 person event. But yeah, it's quite diversified there that, the event size doesn't matter. We do have a sales minimum on some events, depending on what it is. But $600-700 is kind of really our basic minimum, for a small event. But if somebody has 30, 40 people, that covers that minimum pretty easily. If not, it'd be something like, hey, if you did $450 in sales and a $600 minimum, then you have a $150 fee for the truck. So it's really not too terribly expensive, but it is it's not for everyone. But if you have a group and an outing, everybody pitches in. It's really not that expensive if everybody's pitching in. So, depending on the events, we don't book minimums all the time. The neighborhoods, we know they have HOAs, and there's really not a minimum at neighborhoods. But the great thing about neighborhoods is, you might have a corporate lunch show during the day and then go and do a neighborhood that night. It's like you hit your, I have my trucks, budgeted how much that truck needs to make daily. So that booking that neighborhood might
tip it over.
Yeah, tip it over the scale or get me really close.
Yeah.
So, which will help pay payroll. So,
Yeah.
Gotta make payroll.
Got to make that payroll, right.
But it's also such a great opportunity that you're allowing these neighborhoods to have, because it's difficult to have community in a state that's so big, and you have to kind of almost drive everywhere. And if you're going to see people, it's very intentional. And so for neighborhoods, even though a lot of times there's not a lot of people that come out, but now your service is allowing for these people to get to know each other, and just,
the neighborhood block party we just had an event, and the young lady shared that she wanted to be an event coordinator, and I could tell. I mean, it was just the best neighborhood we've ever been to. As far as she had little games, like she had a sheet that you play cornhole. You got a little
awesome.
sticker. You go to the food truck, you get a sticker.
Beautiful.
You go over here and say hi to this person or whatever. You get a sticker. So she had a little,
That's cool.
And then somebody gave her a prize. So everyone was wanting, hey, I want my sticker. I was like, man, I've been doing this 2 years now. I've never, and even in my promotional side, I go, a sticker. That's a great idea. So
gives people that incentive to
gotta
go
the old lunch punch card,
Yeah,
or something
what
like
have I
that.
missed right now? What's on my list? Yeah.
kind of back to basics.
She was all over it. But yeah, you're right. The neighborhoods, they're a big part of the food truck business. And then around the pandemic, they were on fire. I kind of missed that portion of it because I was working corporately for at that time. But but that's where the food trucks were just, crazy busy because the
living.
neighborhoods were, booking these trucks in their neighborhoods.
Because they couldn't go out anywhere.
Yeah, and you make a great point too that every neighborhood it's a different community. So they're all, and how people are like, hey, they might do something in the neighborhood that they wouldn't do normally, just because they're safe and it's their environment. They're around people that they know or know where they live, right? So having a food truck there and for everybody to come out and enjoy some great food is another reason just to get out and meet your neighbors.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of, just think of how many neighborhoods there are in just Oklahoma City. We service, Edmond, Oklahoma City. When I go to pay my taxes at the end of the month, you kind of look and go, well, what city were we in the most? You know?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so you kind of get to, at the end of the month, go, oh, wow, Edmond really showed up this month.
Yeah, cool. Shout out to Edmond.
Yeah. So, right.
That's awesome. And if you missed that, follow them on Instagram, Facebook, or visit their website and figure out where they're going to be.
Yeah.
So you can go get psycho
with psycho tacos. Yes.
It's psycho time, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
psycho
love
time.
it,
Come
love
get
it.
psycho with us. Absolutely.
And while you're doing that, follow us at OKC Foodcast on your preferred social media channel, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you know when the next episode is out.
Yep. Thank you so much for being on board here and chatting with us.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me. It's great to be here. It's always good to talk about food and the Oklahoma City diversity of the food business. It's fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Of course.